These are the Oppenheimer playing cards by the Room 1 playing card company, and their project is currently live, so if you're going to want to pick these up at the end of the video, you can check out the description, the pinned comment, or popping up right here at the end of the video. The tuck box says Room 1 presents Oppenheimer, father of the atomic bomb. And this is not a normal tuck box, because this one you can actually reach into and touch the inside of the tuck box. And I'll get into how they did this in a second. The one long edge is actually going to continue this atomic bomb that explodes around the one side, and the other side says Oppenheimer. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. The back is not exactly how the back is going to be when you get the official cards in the mail, because again, these are just the prototypes. It is going to be larger. It does continue that bomb that we started on the front, comes all the way around the back. You have an indice and a value for the ace of spades in the bottom corner. The top says father of the atomic bomb, and it has 3 of the different directions, north, west, and east. Of course, south is covered up by the bomb. And lastly, the bomb itself is actually going to be a cutout as well. That is not going to be flat. You can reach in and touch that too. The bottom of the tuck box is going to have some ad copy. In the top of the box is Oppenheimer, father of the atomic bomb, 1904. The large inner tuck flap says the decision to drop the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer, and it has a warning sign. Now, as of now, there's nothing else on the inside of the tuck box. But when Room 1 sent me these playing cards, they also sent me this letter, and one of the lines reads, the interior design of the card box will be included in the final version. So I'm assuming that all of this, the stuff that is currently white, will then have a design on it inside of it too, and that would be sick. But since that's all I can say for the tuck box, let's take a look at the cards that come inside. The first thing that you'll get that comes inside of the box is going to be this xylophone stretching type paper. Opens up all the way, so it actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides on it. Front and back works both ways. Super cool. So you have the person on the first one, blank on the second. You get the top of the bomb, middle, bottom, and the main explosion. And the last one is just going to be a brown back. All together, if you fold them like this, you see a man standing in front of the atomic bomb going off, and the 3D effect is super cool. Now, the back design for the Oppenheimer playing card is going to look like this. It says father of the atomic bomb, has all 4 directions on it, and it's going to have the bomb exploding in the center. It also has a radiation warning on both sides, and it is a one-way design. If you don't know what a one-way design is, that means if you look at it this way, and if you flip one over, they're now going to have 2 different designs based off which way it is turned. And genuinely, this is a stunning back design, especially for collectors. Now, starting with the number cards, I'm only going to show you some of them because the rest of them are going to be completely different. So we're going to start off with the spades. You have the 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 of spades, and all of these are going to have changed pips, indices, and values, and you're going to see the back of it isn't white. The goal of them was to look a little bit more rustic, and of course a bit older. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that they are older. I actually just took these out of the package and out of the cellophane a couple of minutes ago, so they're brand new and they feel brand new. They just designed it that way. But that's all of it we got for the number cards, or at least the standard ones. The rest of these are all going to be like news headings, and that is super cool. The fact they have like news articles from that time period and look like they're from that time period on a lot of these. Now, I don't know if the reason why they chose the specific ones that they did would be because like the date that it was released. So like if this one was released on the 10th of a month or something, I think that would be kind of cool. But specifically why they decided to do that, I'm not entirely sure. Next, we're on to our 3 aces, and you'll also notice that this was not in a normal order. So it didn't go spades, then diamonds, then clubs and hearts. You'll notice that these actually went spades, then hearts, then clubs, and then diamonds. So they didn't put it in a normal order when it comes to the suits, and they also didn't put it in a normal order when it came to the values either. They went, normally it would go ace to king, king to ace, king to ace. This one, ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, all the way through the deck. So it is a different order than what you'd normally be used to as well. But that does not make this deck any less cool, and I'm loving these 3 aces. Then when it comes to the court cards, you have really prominent figures like Roosevelt, and there are going to be different ones on each court card. And like Albert Einstein and the rest of them, you're going to see that right next to the indices and values is going to tell you the name of them, so you don't just have to look at them and guess. You also have a lot of the different members of the Oppenheimer family on a lot of these court cards. You get semi-duplicate jokers, and you get 2 more cards. First one is the Oppenheimer playing cards, Ace of Spades, and the other one is the Oppenheimer playing cards, Ace of Spades. And why is that? Well, going back to the note that they wrote me, this is what they said. Every playing card project includes a special collector's card. For instance, Oppenheimer's collected card is the Ace of Spades. If you manage to collect all 13, you'll receive a unique, limited edition collector's playing card set as a gift. Now, the other two notes they had that they wanted you guys to know is the fact that the card quality will be improved for the final version, resulting in a firmer texture, and the paper quality of the card box will be enhanced, making it sturdier in the final version, which I genuinely think is crazy because this card box is already sturdier than a lot of the decks that I own, and it is wider than a lot of the decks that I own, which I think is just fascinating by itself. But personally, I wasn't concerned at all with the fact that it wasn't sturdy enough, but the fact that they're making it more sturdy than this only improves my hopes for this deck. Now, of course, Room 1 said that the quality will be enhanced, but that doesn't mean we're not going to test out everything we can with this deck. First of which is going to be the Faro shuffle, and it Faroed perfectly every other, absolutely no issues there from bottom to top, and then we'll check the same thing from top to bottom as well. And again, do not forget that this is just the prototypes, but once again, thread every other beautifully from top to bottom. Now, a lot of decks, it takes me a second to figure out if it's a more snappy deck, or if it's a more buttery deck, or if it's a thinner or thinner deck. A lot of decks will actually take me a second to be able to figure out. With this deck, I went like this, and it took that long for me to decide what this deck was. Now let me just clarify for what those two things mean. Buttery decks are more used for things like the card spring, which looks like that, or under pressure, which looks like this. It's moves that require a bit more malleability from the deck. This one is going to be great for it. Now the other kind of deck would be a snappy deck, which would be for things like Backdrop, which look like that, or ATM, which would subsequently look like this. So clearly this one is going to work for those as well, but it's definitely much better suited for decks and for moves that are going to use a lot more malleability in them because they just move so easily. There's absolutely no pressure at all, so if you're just getting into cardistry or magic and you're worried your hands aren't strong enough, you could pick up one of these decks and have absolutely no issues, because I could probably do it left-handed with how easy this deck is to maneuver. And of course, if you are wanting to pick this deck up for yourself, check out the description below or the pinned comment, because I will post the link to these playing cards in both of those places, and it'll be popping up at the end of the video. And I know that this is a sponsored video, but I have no problem ruining a sponsorship if I don't like the cards. And genuinely, these are incredible. So if you're a history buff, a collector, or just someone who likes nice playing cards, this deck is definitely going to be for you. So if you want these playing cards, you can check them out popping up here, or another video from the channel right there. Subscribe for more deck reviews just like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is CPM, signing off.